Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. All right, it's football season once again. Not the NFL, not the CFL, not college. The USFL debuts this coming week on Fox and on NBC. All the teams are owned by Fox. It is a reboot of a defunct organization. The original USFL went from 1982 through 1990, between 1982 and 1986, had 18 teams. In '84, they voted for the '86 season to go to a fall league and run directly connect with the NFL. The owner of the New Jersey Generals at the time, majority owner Donald Trump, and a handful of other owners said, no, we don't want to do this. This is just going to try to force a merge with the NFL. As part of the strategy, the USFL filed an antitrust lawsuit against the NFL in '86. The jury said the NFL had violated anti-monopoly laws because it was the only game in town. However, the victory was literally like $1, which got tripled to $3. The court decision literally ended the USFL's existence. In '86, the USFL folded, had a lost revenue of $163 million. In today's money, that's $389 million. That's a lot of moolah to lose. As we've seen, this is the second league in the last 3 years to try to do a spring football, XFL in 2020. We'll see how it goes. Honestly, I think people love football enough that it would succeed, but you can't have XFL, which is coming back next year, and the USFL. We also have the CFL, which CFL has its own kind of rules, its own kind of uniqueness. I do picks and stuff for that as well here in Robert Sports Show. What I would like to see happen is next year, if the XFL does come back, have some type of combination league between the USFL and the XFL. Have that work with the CFL. So not maybe two separate leagues, but they play interleague games, and then when they have a Grey Cup champion and then XFL, USFL champion, those champions play in a follow-up game, kind of like North American Championship or something like that. That way you get some of the CFL game in the US, and vice versa, you get some of the US game in Canada. Obviously, you cannot compete with the NFL. The NFL will stomp any league like a bug. Do it during the off season like they're doing this, But hey, we'll see what happens. This is my ideas. I can't wait. In June, we have the CFL starts. This league will be over in July. So I'd really like to see how ratings and everything works during that month of June and July as the USFL is going into the playoffs, but the CFL is getting started. That'd be interesting to see. So this new USFL, we have two leagues, or two conferences, South and North. In the South, we have the Birmingham Stallions, the Houston Gamblers, the New Orleans Breakers, the Tampa Bay Bandits. In the North, we have the Michigan Panthers, New Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars, and Pittsburgh Maulers. The Stallions of Birmingham, Tampa Bay Bandits, the New Jersey Generals are original USFL teams from 1984. Houston, Tampa, and New Jersey each had a team in the XFL in 2020. St. Louis also had a team in the XFL in 2020. Now, for 40 regular season games, 2 playoff games, and then a championship game. So there'd be, I guess the playoffs will be the top 2 of each division, and then the winners of those will play off for the championship. The season runs from April 16th through July 3rd. All games will be played in Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. I think there's going to be the majority of games are played there. Let me look here real quick. Let's see, what have we announced here? All right, so Legion Field and Protective Stadium. So 30 to 35 games will be played at Protective Stadium. 8 to 11 games will be played at Legion Field. The championship game will be played, and the playoffs will be done at Canton, Ohio, at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, due to its scheduling conflict with Birmingham for the 2022 World Games. So the playoffs will be played at a different site, but everything will be played in the same city. 4 games in week 1. I mean, I don't know of any other time where Fox and NBC have did a sports event, basically a little parallel to each other on each channel. It's going to be some games on Peacock, some games on USA, so it's going to be kind of, I'll say, a smorgasbord of where everything is. Let's see if it tells me more information here. Alright, so 2020 season will air on Fox and NBC. Fox will have 12 regular season games, 1 semifinal, and the championship. NBC will have 8 regular season games, 1 semifinal. Most games will air, 9 games will air on the USA, 8 games on FS1, and 4 games airing on Peacock. The opening game will be April 16th. It'll be on both Fox and NBC. Fox will produce the game, NBC will produce the studio coverage. So, alright, we're going to jump into the 4 games. If you're new to Rob Sports Show, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at Rob Sports Show. I do straight up picks, against the spread, and over under. I do NCAA college football. I do the CFL. I do the XFL, and I do all the NFL games. We're going to do the USFL as well. So we have the New Jersey Generals versus the Birmingham Stallions. Head coach of the Generals is Mike Riley. Mike Riley coached in college, CFL, NFL, and he was a offensive coordinator in the XFL. Birmingham Stallions head coach Skip Holtz. He was head coach in the NCAA college football ranks. Birmingham is favored by 1.5. I'm going ahead and basically go straight up against the favorites here, not having any real knowledge of who's going to do what and where and all this. I know there's a couple of good quarterbacks here. I mean, most of them have played in college. They played a cup of coffee in the NFL, some practice squads. But it's kind of we're kind of shooting in the dark here. So I mean, I could literally go 0-12, or I can go 12-0. You never know. So I'm going to pick Birmingham to cover the 1.5, and then under on the 55.5 overall points. The Houston Gamblers versus the Michigan Panthers. Houston's head coach is Kevin Sumlin. He was a coach in the NCAA ranks. He was coach of the year for the SEC when he coached at Texas A&M in 2012. Michigan Panthers have a head coach of Jeff Fisher. We all know who Hall of Fame head coach. He's an NFL head coach or coach from 1985 through 2016. Now, he did win a Super Bowl with Tennessee. He went to St. Louis, as we all know. If you're a St. Louis Rams fan back in the day, he wasn't very good. 3 of the 5 years he coached here, the team went 7-9. He was 2012 through 2016, so the year 7-9 for 3 of the years, 6-10. I think they were 4 and something the last year. So didn't have a very good run in St. Louis. A lot of people he kind of rubbed the wrong way. So if you call him Mr. 7-9, which they do in St. Louis, on a 10-game shift, so he's going to be 4-6 in this series. Who knows? He's got Paxton Lynch, former Denver Broncos quarterback, probably the biggest name quarterback on here. So yeah, I mean, I am going to go ahead and pick them, so they are the favorites here in Week 1. Michigan wins, covers the 1.5, and over on the 53.5. Philadelphia Stars versus the New Orleans Breakers. Bart Andrews, he coached in college, coached in the CFL, coached in NFL Europe, and he coached in the United Football League, which is another spring league that failed. They all tend to fail, it seems like. And so for New Orleans Breakers, Larry Fedoro, NFL college, coach and head coach. New Orleans Breakers are favored by 1.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 53.5. That's what I'm saying. There's been several spring football leagues that have failed. I think the XFL only failed because of the pandemic. I think this could work if there's decent football. There's enough players that have either, that were great players in college that didn't quite make a NFL team. They go to the CFL, they go here. There's plenty of good players out there that have a good league. So I'm hoping that they do end up figuring out how to make this work. Because I think having something during the NFL offseason will keep people's appetite for football. It's never going to see the numbers that the NFL does, but I think there's enough want for it out there that it can actually survive. And then our fourth and final game, Tampa Bay Bandits versus the Pittsburgh Maulers. Todd Haley, head coach of the Tampa Bay Bandits. He was NFL head coach from 95 through 2018. He was a head coach in Kansas City from 2009 to 2011. Pittsburgh Maulers head coach, I did not write his name down. That's pretty funny. Well, he played in the CFL. He was an NCAA college coach, NFL coach from 1997 through 2020. Give me one moment here. We're going to pull up who his name is. I just totally did not write his name down. Or did I remember it? Let's see. USFL. Too many things here. So we're looking at Pittsburgh Maulers. Kirby Wilson. So Kirby Wilson, that's his stats. Played in CFL, coach in the NCAA ranks, coach in the NFL from 97 through 2020. He is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Maulers. Tampa Bay is favored by 1.5. I am picking them to win, covering the 1.5. I will go under on the 56.5. It's kind of so hard to see what these teams are going to do right now because we had not seen anything yet. I mean, they literally haven't even been on the field yet. Now, one thing I'm looking forward to is the Tampa Bay Bandits quarterback, Jordan Tamu. He was actually the quarterback for the XFL. Wasn't he the XFL for St. Louis? Yeah, he was the St. Louis, what were the names? St. Louis Battlehawks. He was the XFL quarterback in 2020 for the Battlehawks. In 5 games, he had 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, had a 72% completion ratio. He could run the ball a little bit, so I'm kind of excited to see what he can do, especially in a full season. I was really hoping he would get a full season there in the XFL. He got a chance to go to some training camps, was on some practice squads as quarterbacks were getting hurt last year. But yeah, so Tampa Bay quarterback should be doing well here. Paxton Lynch from Michigan. Obviously, both of those head coaches have NFL experience, NFL head coach experience. So it could be a fun year to see where those two teams go with those quarterbacks and what other quarterbacks will stand out and other players will stand out. But that is week 1. Stay tuned to Robert Sports Show. We'll have each week throughout the playoffs here for the USFL. Welcome back, as always. Thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.